Alright, and we are now live. Welcome everyone to
Hello, it's me, Mario, and welcome to Ken Jeff's podcast. And our presenter, Feel Good.
Stole the freaking intro from me. Wow. Impressed.
He's
well
good at it.
everyone.
That
This
was
is Dr.
special.
Feelgood coming at you with yet another podcast, and this thing will be diagnosis number 3, entitled "The Secret Conspiracy." Nintendo is secretly fed up. Now, before we get started, let me introduce the awesome panelists here. Some, of course, are new. From my left to right, Bear, go ahead and give your intro.
What's going on, everyone? I'm your fat Canadian. I was going to swear there, but I'm not going to. I'll keep it down. Fat boy, Bear Hugger 29, the one and only Canadian, bear hugger, I guess. That sounds really gay, but whatever. Moving on. But yeah,
And next up, I hope I don't get this wrong, we have Darkstar. Go ahead.
Yo guys, it's Darkstar here, probably the only other Canadian here, but
oh shit, I'm not alone.
oh nope, not alone.
Amen. Canadians will rise up, bro.
No.
And next, we got Esteban.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Son Reese, and Simon Podcast. Kind of nervous.
All right, another person, new of course, will be Coupon. Is it the gaming diva? If I got that wrong, I'm sorry.
Hi guys, Koopa Strides here, your diva in gaming. Be easy on me.
All right, and if you can, be sure to go check out her video with her singing in the beginning. I think you guys would like that. I'm not sure if you didn't hear seen it, but next up we got Mr. Red Fox. The guy hasn't taken bull since I think the 90s, but go ahead.
1991, to be precise. Look, I'm Mr. Red Fox. I have not suffered fools lightly since 1991, and I'm sticking with it till now. So let's get down to it.
And next up we got the one and only Good Shep.
People, listen, it's about to go down. Y'all need to pay attention. There's a lot that's gonna happen. Don't
And
sleep.
for all those watching, this is not the Ragnarok, so don't pay attention to Shep for that comment.
But yeah, it's a good shepherd. It's gonna be fun, and it might be a little dark.
And last but not least, we got
Just like
Triple
your
M.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Triple M, the lone wolf and fondness for games that pops out in my artworks. And I recently didn't mind ignorance, that is, until it threatens to destroy my beloved hobby. That is, gaming.
All right. Well, once again, today we're going to talk about what I believe is a secret conspiracy. Anyone, all our viewers out there, anyone on this panel, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the last podcast I did, which was about the Nintendo ecosystem, which I do believe is coming, if it's not already here. But to add to that, we all hear about, we keep hearing news almost every day that some third-party company has opted out. They canceled the game for the Wii U. They're not going to make it. Even some companies that are working closely with the Wii U on other games. Now, we can all say, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that up until this point, we're like, the hell with third parties. They're not worth the damn anyway. Let's just buy Nintendo, whatever else you may say, and I agree with all that. But to me, it's happening so much that when you sit down and think about it, it's not all just third parties. And to all the other fanboys out there, no, I'm not agreeing with you that the Wii U is weak or anything related to that. What I think is happening is Nintendo is secretly behind closed doors turning down a lot of these third-party games because of their lack of quality.
Damage control.
And so, let me go into more detail about that. Now we've all seen a video recently, I think we all have, where Nintendo in recent years, even before the launch of the Wii U, they shook hands with EA, Activision, Ubisoft, and various other big publishers that pledged, or should I say promised, their support to Nintendo's Wii U. And I would say the first year, I wouldn't say that, the first 6 months, they did do a little bit of supporting, a little bit. You got Black Ops 2 from Activision, which was a very, very good game, the definitive version, in my opinion. And then, of course, you got various other games out there, like Rayman Legends for the Wii U, the definitive version. But now we here to talk about We're not going to get Assassin's Creed, which I don't care about. We're not going to get Batman Arkham Knight and other big third-party games that we would like to have and buy. Now, let's think for a moment. Does Nintendo really like to have crappy ass games or ports on their system? This is not something that they're known for. So I want you guys to give me your opinion on that, and we'll start with Bear.
Oh, of course, you have to pick me out of the crowd. What I think, according to your analogy, is like it seems to me like it's like they're going back to what they did on the NES and the SNES days. By having a little bit more, not so much the policy restrictions back then, because I mean the policy restrictions back then made sense, because they were trying to avoid yet another crash, because that was the thing that caused the Atari crash was lack of quality consistent, and so Nintendo wanted to make sure that they were going to constantly avoid that at all costs, and I think this time around, seeing the backlash of all the sloppy ports that we have received, in which we voted with their damn wallet, by the way. I strongly think that Nintendo was actually going back to that time period in a sense by not allowing, run down crappy ports with features taken out of it or that kind of stuff of that to be plagued on the system. And that way, but with that said, of course, they're filling in the gaps of coming out with content that can easily, take care of those niches of these games that people want to see, like, Splatoon for Call of Duty and Devil's Third, to be in conjunction with that too as well, along with a few others. But I think, honestly, that's what they're planning on doing is they're just going back to their old ways from back then without the policies in play, is the way I'm looking at it, because they want to make sure that they have quality on their system and make the system a more valuable, attractive console to other system owners that are avoiding the Wii U because they don't see anything on the system that they obviously not are attracted to yet. But with games like Smash, Devil's Third, Bayonetta 2, being another example, I can definitely see them stepping in that right direction of getting their own new ecosystem coming into play. With that said, of course, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I do believe in maybe not too far-fetched from what you're implying about them shoving off the actual third parties. There is a plausible reason maybe behind that. Of course, I'm not going to admit to it because Nintendo's not going to come out and say, hey, you know what? Screw all you guys. We're saying no to all these because we want to make our own consistent library of games. But that's the way it's starting to look like now with so many pushes towards the eastern side of the world. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but that's my thesis on it, and the fact that I think that they're going back to a lot of the actual stricter with the policies in play, what they did back on the NES and the SNES days.
Okay.
All right, Dark, you got anything?
Yeah, so pretty much what Bear said makes a lot of sense what Nintendo's doing, because it's a lot. With all the third-party games that are coming out that we see a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But with we saw with Bayonetta 2 and Devil's Third, I think if Nintendo keeps doing that, if they keep getting those niche type of games coming to their system that you can't get anywhere else, and like Bayonetta 2 and like Devil's Third, that will entice people to pick up the console. That will fill the gaps.
Oh, God damn it! My bad.
All right, Esteban, are we done, Stark?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Esteban.
Well, I think Nintendo's doing a lot of IP because of lack of third parties. Like obviously, I have no idea. I don't know why third parties not supporting Nintendo, but Nintendo is taking part, making a lot more first party. Like Bear said about shooters like Call of Duty, Civil Third, and etc. So I think Nintendo is going to be fine by the next year.
All right then. Coupon.
I really don't know what to say right now. I think Nintendo has some things going on behind the scenes that they got something going on that we're not ready for. Nobody's ready for it, and to be honest, I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do. Cause I don't know. I think they're about to drop a bomb. So,
it's that blue ocean strategy, man. I'm telling you.
They're gonna knock the socks off.
They're doing something, so I don't know. But I don't have any thoughts on this particular.
Red, go ahead and pick it up.
All right. I'm gonna piggyback off what Coupon said. Basically, Just a little for your guys' information. Okay, Nintendo is like they're dropping breadcrumbs, and I mean if you put it together, it's leading to something. Okay, Nintendo, started consolidating their hardware and software divisions at their Kyoto office. Okay, so they're putting all this stuff together. They said we're gonna be dropping a high-level game every month for the year 2015 because we're putting our new studio. Our new studio is about to open. It's going to be opening up at the end of 2014 in preparation for 2015. Basically, Nintendo. I mean, and here's the thing: this plan that they're doing to consolidate their studios and bring everything together in-house. This is not something that they just came up with when the Wii U came out. This thing was in the planning stages 5, 6, 7 years ago. Basically, Nintendo, even back then they were looking at how third parties were using them as a dumping ground for crappy, low-quality games, and that would sell like $1 million, $1.5 million. Took maybe 500,000 to make, and that would be a high-budget one of these crappy games. And yet they made back like millions back by selling 1 million copies, and sitting there, never putting any high-quality games on the system, or at least very rarely. Like if a third party would put 10 games on the Wii, you'd see maybe 2 or 3 of them would be high quality. The rest would be just garbage. So I mean, Nintendo has been preparing for this. They're basically they're cutting the lifeline. They're letting go third parties, and if third parties want to work with Nintendo, great. If they don't, Nintendo's just gonna they're gonna do their own thing. Nintendo does not care. They don't care because they have the IPs that they can. If they sell their IPs, they can survive. And that's the way it should be with first-party console manufacturers. It shouldn't be a first-party console manufacturer beholding to third parties. It should be third parties beholding to first-party console manufacturers.
Yep.
All right. And Shepard.
Man, listen, plain and simple, this is a company that's been around. September 23rd, they're going to be around for 125 years. They have had a tradition of business. They know how to innovate. They've been doing Hanafuda cars and all these other things over a century. They're not going to fall for the nonsense of these younger companies that think they know better. They plan and they research, and they have some of the smartest people you'll ever come across. They've been researching and planning this for at least 8 years. They've been making movements for the last year and a half, 2 years. Like Coupon says, we're going to see something interesting real soon. And I'm not talking about the new 3DS.
All right, man. And Triple M.
I am going to piggyback on Mr. Red Fox breadcrumbs, so to speak. What happened to the launch? I think Nintendo purposely done that. I mean, basically just show you an example of what third parties will do. And like Red Fox said, Nintendo's been planning this for five years ago, and I would say they thought it would be a risky business, but I guess it was a good cost in the long run, because now Nintendo basically has oh crap, what was the word again? Yes, but basically now Nintendo has evidence to say, you know what, we're closing down our doors. No one can come up here until they're actually certified by us, and we're just gonna do things by ourselves.
Nintendo seal of quality.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. That's a good point.
That's pretty much basically what
I'm
Nintendo
telling
was
you, man.
planning on doing. That's
Nintendo
their whole
is
goal.
the Willy Wonka of video game makers, and they're closing down the factory.
Yo,
only
I'll tell you.
only
I'll tell you
5 kids are
exactly.
getting in, and only one of those 5 kids is not going to be horrifically murdered because we know Willy Wonka killed those kids.
You know, it's funny because I mean, obviously, I think the whole entire collaboration, like with EA, the whole fallout with EA, we already know what caused that idea. You know, EA got pissed off at Nintendo because the sheer aspect of them Nintendo denying their origin as like their main online service, because that would have caused way too many problems with third-party developers, especially Activision, because that's their main competition when it comes to Call of Duty via and or versus freaking Battlefield. So Call of Duty would still never see the light of day if Origin, if Nintendo would have accepted Origin's online policy things to have that on their system.
EA would have gimped it. Gimped the online.
Exactly. They would have purposely gimped that game so that way nobody would buy it and just buy Battlefield instead. And to me, that's a very, very dick move, and I'm glad that Nintendo made that decision. Honestly, with the way EA's track record has been over the last 5 years, with them, gaining that whole entire aspect for 2 years consecutively, I think was it like 2010, 2011 when they got actually nominated as the worst game company of the fucking year. That should automatically already tell you that EA is not a trustworthy company, and we're still seeing it to this day. I mean, Battlefield came out and was a broken travesty for so many people, especially on the PC front. Crash after crash, the online was broken as hell. But yet, look what happened afterwards. People are still buying their freaking games. And with all their microtransactions slaughtering the crap out of the industry now on top of that, more developers are taking advantage of that too as well on top of that crap. Nintendo, what the way they're doing is, which goes back to your theory there, Ken, about them, they're filling their own freaking genres. Don't have Tekken? Okay, that's fine. We got Pokemon fucking tournament. We don't have freaking Call of Duty? Okay, well, we got Splatoon, and we also got freaking Devil's Thirds. They're literally filling in the gaps by getting themselves involved with third-party games. Kobe Tech was a prime example. Hyrule Warriors, and also there's going to be a lot more crossover games and a lot more collaborations. Guarantee you. I mean, we could very well see a collaboration with Capcom for Mega Man. That's the reason why maybe we're not getting Resident Evil, because we're going to be getting Mega Man instead. Nintendo was basically cutting out the middleman to have no competition from third-party developers at all on their said platforms. So that way, all their games that come out will definitely be supported from a large form of audience, and a lot of people who are still debating about buying a Wii U will see a reason to come to this system and have it as their secondary console of choice. Release a Mega Man game for the Wii U, you'll get Mega Man fans to come over. Release a Square Enix crossover game, you'll get those Japanese nuts in North America that love Japanese-related games to come over. It's a perfect plan. It's a perfect strategy for Nintendo to put that in place, and it's exactly what I think they're actually doing.
And see, that's actually a perfect segue, because just to clue you guys in a little bit more about the conspiracy that I'm speaking of, and as many of you touched on earlier, Nintendo made these deals, these third parties, and to me that was Nintendo welcoming back third parties as we're going to try this again. We know we had bad blood before because of our policies, but we're going to try to make this work again. So now, with these promises Nintendo's made, to third parties, and the promises third parties made to them, and biggest of all, Nintendo made the promises of making these third-party games available on their system to their fans who cared about it the most.
Yep.
Now, Nintendo will not publicly come out and say, you know what, because of Ubisoft's delaying our exclusive game and then making it multi-platform, because of Activision giving us a GIMP port of Call of Duty Ghosts, because of EA not giving us Madden or anything else, we're going to cut the ties. That would immediately piss off their fans who they made their promise to offer these games to. So they're not going to do that publicly. But as a company that's known for quality and always offering the highest quality of gaming, ask yourself this: if these same people that you shook hands with gave you one good game, so Rocksteady gave us Arkham City, Activision gave us Black Ops 2 Definitive Edition. I mean, if we think about these type of games, what happens when they start giving you badass, crappy ports that work worse than last-gen consoles? Do you continue to accept it to appease your fans, although your fans are going to be pissed off because they're gimped? And Nintendo can easily, debunk most of these rumors and stuff about their system being weaker, the system being crappy, no support. They can easily debunk this. They can come out publicly and debunk all this shit, but they won't do it.
They don't care.
They're doing things behind the scenes. What they're doing is they're probably telling Activision, you know what, no, we changed our mind. We don't want Advanced Warfare, because it'll probably end up being another GIMP port. And then instead of telling Ubisoft, you know what? No, delay Watch Dogs. We got Mario Kart coming out. We got a few other big games coming out. We don't want these games to have any competitors. Any competitors, because that's what I would do as a business. Is that if I saw bad quality shit coming into my business, I would just start shutting it down. And I find it hard to believe that these third parties got Nintendo under their foot in a contract by saying if you don't make sales, we don't have to
Yeah,
support your system. I bet
people
Nintendo
underestimate.
has clauses that say if your products are not quality products, we have the right to cut those ties, but they would not
Ken,
announce it publicly. They would do it silently in the background.
Yeah, and
So
for
what are
those
your thoughts
people,
on
wait,
this?
quick question. Did Yamauchi have anything to do with picking Owada as his successor?
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
he did.
He was
Okay,
handpicked. He was handpicked
okay.
by Yamauchi himself.
Now we know how Yamauchi rolled. Um,
Yeah, Yamauchi was
I,
downright Yakuza,
I have
son.
a feeling that what Ken is saying might have some truth to it. Iwata's just more quiet and smooth about it, but I think he really might be in the background, be like, all right, listen, this is Nintendo. We have a certain amount of quality. But
Yep,
if these game ports,
to hell
if
with
it's
him.
not up to spec, then we don't want it. Bye.
Yep.
yeah, and the funny thing
And
is,
then these third parties are getting butthurt. So instead of
yeah,
just quietly accepting it, they want to throw mud.
and they point the blame at us. They point
Hold
the
on,
blame
hold
at
on,
us for
but I mean, but to add to that, I think the reason why these third parties have varying excuses is this. Nintendo probably has them under some type of clause or contract that states that even though we cancel this, we're canceling our deals with this game. You can't say anything. You can't say that we did this. You can say anything else but this. It's like when they slap an injunction. Or what do you call it before a game comes out? You can't release any reviews.
The NDA?
NDA.
yeah, the
Yeah.
NDA.
So basically, they're doing that. They're probably allowed them to say whatever they want, and that's why you can ask the same third-party publisher. You can ask them the same question 3 times about the same
Same
game
sorry
and
ass
ask the same
excuses.
reason.
Yeah.
No, but there are times they give you 3 different excuses.
Yeah, well, it's like they have this might date me, but remember
A
those
Rolodex of
address phone
excuses.
number books from back in the day where it was
Rolodex
like
of
you flip
excuses.
it open, Rolodexes, and you flip through it? It's like they have a Rolodex of shitty excuses to say the reason why a
They
game
have
isn't coming to the
they
Well,
Wii
I'll
have
U.
tell you, yeah,
they have a set of canned responses that Nintendo has
Yeah.
probably allowed them to use, or they chose to
So,
use, and they can say anything but. Nintendo actually were the ones that told us to cancel this game. We can't tell you why,
well,
but because Nintendo did that, they would hurt their fans.
well,
well,
because it's
I have to disagree slightly. I don't think Nintendo wants games canceled for their thing. I think what the issue is this, okay? If you are a Nintendo gamer, you're used to Nintendo quality, and we know good games. We know good games. We know when a developer is actually trying. Even if a game isn't a certain budget level, you can tell that the studio developing that game was trying. Like Zombie U is a budget game, okay?
Yep.
I don't care what anyone says. That's a budget game. But you can tell that there's some ideas in that game that you can tell the developers making it were trying. You know what I mean? They just
Yep.
didn't have the money and the time to put it to where it could have been. But I mean, with some of these gimped ass ports that have come to the Wii U from these third parties, you can tell these people just said, "Oh, it's the Xbox 360. Well, just get it to get past the start menu, put it on the system." That's what they
Well, I mean-
and then they act surprised when we don't buy the shit. I mean, it's like if someone took a bag of rocks and put it in took a bag of took some rocks and dog poop and put it in a box and said, "Here, I'm gonna give you this. This is a cake. Buy it." And then like you go across and you go to another part of the store where they have the same box, but it actually has a cake in it. That's what they're putting. And what they're giving us, the former is what they're giving us on the Wii U, and the latter is what they're getting on Xbox One, PS4, Xbox 360, PS3,
But,
and
yeah,
PC.
it
but
seems
we don't know if this is true. I find it. What bugs me out is that they keep doing this, and I don't think it's always about the quality per se. How do I phrase this?
I think it's
you're
about the
deliberately
intention
finding a
because
way out.
if you look at it, to me, I mean, third parties are doing a lot of shady shit now, from horrible DLC to buggy games to half-ass games. To
Microtransactions.
me, what
Which is why
what
a lot of
seems
them
to
are
be
going out
happening,
of business.
they're trying. Nintendo is trying to not only fill the gaps of what they're missing in third parties, like for instance, Splatoon and Devil's Third are going to take care of the shooter genre. Plain and simple, you have a casual and a core, if you want to use that word. You want to put yourself in the category.
Smash and Pokemon Tournament taking care of the fighting genre.
Exactly. But if you think about this, why would they do this and not welcome Advanced Warfare? Another shooter couldn't hurt, right? But look at it from this perspective. How can you guarantee your game to sell by eliminating any and all possible competition on your console?
Yep.
And to back this up even further, and I'm not saying this is fact, but this is just my opinion. Look at Namco. Okay, so Namco has canceled Tekken. They delayed Project Cars. I think they are the publisher behind that game. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so you may ask yourself now, why would Namco, who actually helped them develop Smash Brothers, they're helping them develop the game. They're right alongside Sakurai, basically. Why would they delay a game that has no competition on the Wii U? Because the release date, A, falls right around other high-quality titles.
Yeah.
They really do.
Smash being
And
one
on
of them.
top of that, Namco basically is in bed with Nintendo right now. They may be making other games for other consoles, but who are they really working closer to? Nintendo. So this is what I can surmise from all this shit. Nintendo does not want Project Cars to have competition. Now, it may not have competition on the Wii U, but if you release Project Cars on all platforms at the same time, most fans, let's just say a general gaming public, are going to gravitate towards Forza or Gran Turismo.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why it's bomb on PS4.
But see, not just console specific, but if you are a fan and you have let's say you have all three consoles, are you more interested in Forza, Gran Turismo, or a new IP, Project Cars? Typically, it's one of the other two. So if you release yours a little bit later, after those two release, you don't have any damn competition in the gaming community, and you don't have any competition on your console.
Yep.
And you have features in your game that the other games don't have.
Why do you
Exactly.
Why do you think games like Captain Toad and Devil's Third have no official release date yet? With everything that's dropping out, I mean, think about it. You have Hyrule Warriors this month, Bayonetta next month, and then you got Smash in November. So where can Toad have its own month? That's why I think Devil's Third and Captain Toad are not going to be released until the first quarter of 2015.
No, I think in North America, Captain's Toad is going to be the Christmas game. Because Smash Brothers,
it's delayed in Europe.
Smash Brothers is going to be the but Europe's their weakest market. Smash Brothers is going to be for North America. Smash Brothers is going to be like that Thanksgiving November, because you're going to get a taste with the 3DS version, and then I think 3-4 weeks later, boom! Allegedly, the Wii U version is going to drop. Let's be frank. Smash Brothers is not a game that I would really give a 5 or 6-year-old. I'm sorry. Because it's not for 5 or 6-year-olds. What you want for that family title, for the kids, for the little kid, is Captain Toad. And I'm telling you, that's going to drop
Captain Toad 11th, December. That game is not that easy. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah,
exactly. I know it's not that easy, but it looks like something that a kid would like.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say the same thing about Smash, because Smash has got a lot of iconic characters that resonate with kids. Kids know who they are. They know who Link is. They know who Samus is. They know who Mario is.
They are, but most 5 or 6-year-olds are going to play. If they play that game against someone who actually knows what they're going to get their butt kicked. So
my nephew plays Melee constantly, religiously. He's only fucking 10 years old. He's been playing the game the last 3 years.
I said,
Caden, oh my God.
Yeah, but even with that, my theory is the fact that I think Captain Toad is going to be delayed and give Smash Brothers that 2-month stretch. Let freaking the holiday season be with just Smash. November and December, come out in January, drop freaking Captain Toad. That'll be a perfect release for January, because by then the momentum in the sales will slightly be decreased for Smash Brothers in that time period. January comes around, people are going to be like, okay, well, Smash Brothers has been out for a month and a half now. Let's go ahead and drop this game. February, they drop Devil's Third. March, they drop freaking Xenoblade Chronicles, and then, Splatoon and everything else like that the fall afterwards. And then whenever we get at E3, that's going to be coming around the fall and holiday season, which we already know one big game is coming out this holiday season.
I think E3, they're going to... Let me put it this way. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If Nintendo can say at E3, and Zelda will be ready this holiday for 2015, they win E3 automatically, because I don't care what anyone else is showing.
Well, no,
care.
but
Halo, Microsoft will be like, we got Halo. Look, it's not Zelda. Go sit down.
My point is, The strategy that Nintendo is doing as a whole is just—it's ridiculous, man. I'll share that in a little later. I'll give somebody else a chance to talk.
I need to play devil's advocate because we just sound like a bunch of Nintendo fanboys screaming conspiracy.
Fangirl.
What's up? And fangirl. Sorry, fangirl. My bad.
It's all good. I'm playing with you.
But seriously, I mean, there has to be a logical reasons besides that why the third parties go out of their way to give us trash or no games at all.
Because they're deliberately trying to find a way out. Their first game that they dropped were successes.
I think
Ubisoft, they launched Zombie U at the very beginning of the actual launch of the Wii U itself. They saw that.
I need more than that because they've actually made profit.
But yeah,
like,
they made profit over
Capcom has made
the last
money.
2 years. They made profit over the last 2 years.
Here's the thing, okay? The Wii spoiled third party because the Wii basically was had a huge install base, and they could put like games. The Wii and the DS, okay? The Wii and the DS had huge install bases. They could put any garbage on those systems, and even if they only sold to like 1%, 2%, 3% of the install base, they still made a huge profit. And they were like low budget games sold to the smallest install base, but they still made a lot of money. They want the Wii U. In their mind, they're still stuck in that, well, we can put any shit on this system and they'll buy it. Because, you know, a lot of the people who got the Wii were like, you know, look, I remember playing Wii Sports with my grandfather. Like my grandfather's gonna know the difference between a good game and a bad game. You know, like a really good game and a really bad game. You know, and a lot of those people got taken in, and third parties laughed all the way to the bank. I mean, yeah, you got some good games on the Wii that were from third party, like what?
Red Steel?
Yeah, Red
Steel,
Steel.
there you go.
Red Steel 2, Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Dang.
Opuna. Let's see. What was the Capcom game?
There's many other games that was released.
There was a Capcom game that was an adventure game, and you had a bell. Wiki. Zack and Wiki. Zack and Wiki. I mean, you had.
That was good. I never played it, but it was good.
You had some good third-party games, but the thing is, like, for every 2 or 3 good third-party games, there were like 7 really bad ones that sold well. So they want to turn. They're still stuck in that mindset because they don't want to put the effort. Because what they did was they made money off of the DS. I mean, Square Enix did the same thing. They made money off of a lot of their handheld RPGs on the DS, and then they took that money and put it into Final Fantasy 13 and Kingdom Hearts 2 that was never even going to look at a Nintendo console. So, I mean...
Yeah, I remember that.
Where's my disc guy again?
Yeah,
sorry, the mic is on.
PS4's got the sky for you, buddy.
Yeah.
But there is...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Ken. I'll say what I got to say after. What's that?
I was saying, and just to add to that, I mean, basically, when you look back at even another topic here, the DLC. Now, I mentioned this in my ecosystem podcast, but how many of you, just a quick answer, I'm pretty sure y'all agree, how many of you think that DLC has gotten completely it's just worthless?
Oh, God, yeah. Ever since Miguel hit the stream, they found a way to exploit it.
For 9 out of 10 games, it's worthless. But here's my point. Amiibo is a universal DLC. Now, I will admit, it may be expensive, but to me, I don't think it's expensive because we're talking about adding a microchip to a well-painted figurine. And this will work across multiple games, if not most games. I mean, to me, it's going to work across most Nintendo games. Now, How do you shut out? Now, I thought this was a good idea, you know, with Disney, because Disney made it to where they didn't have to pay royalties for the DLC with their Disney Infinity game. Nintendo saw that and took it a step further and said, let's make DLC that can be applied to games of all types, all genres on only our console. We have to pay royalties to anyone but our damn selves. And you have Amiibo. They're shutting out any outside DLC.
That's exactly, you're right. And that's exactly what Amiibo is. You pay for it once, you pretty much basically you're going to have a slew of extra content coming to your game, and you don't have to pay jack shit for it, except for that one-time fee. But it's across multiple games. You're absolutely right about that. You know, I mean, but that's the thing. But but before we get on, like, go to the whole, there's two things I want to make perfectly clear, because I've been seeing this come up a lot on trending posts and Facebook posts and comments galore. When they sat there and said, "Oh, you know," or Awada lied to us about the whole entire third-party thing. Actually, he never lied about anything. We still are getting third-party support from Namco, Atlas, Tecmo, all that stuff.
Oh God, yes.
Atlas. When somebody says, and specifically says third-party, does not fucking mean AAA titles, or any game has to be AAA titles. If he wanted to come out and state that for the record, he would have said, "Oh, we're going to be giving you guys AAA third-party titles." No. Awada came out and stated for the record that he wanted to get third parties on board, and that's exactly what the fuck he's doing right now. And the fact that nobody sees that...
Everyone thinks when people think third party, they think, oh, Activision, EA, Ubisoft. I mean, here's the thing. Third party is anyone who isn't owned by a console manufacturer and doesn't have a close relationship with them. Platinum Games is third party. Sega's third party. Atlas is third party. Yacht Club Games is third party. I mean, you know, Double Fine is third party. There's third party is just anyone not owned by a console manufacturer. That's all it is. I mean, it's like I was having a relationship with them.
It's like I was telling people before about the whole entire aspect about Hyrule Warriors not selling all too great, going from past experiences with previous Dynasty Warriors games. Look, those games, all they got to sell is a minimum of 150,000. They make freaking profit off of it. This is not a AAA title. This is a budget title. That's why they have no problem coming out with yearly iterations or upgrades or whatever the case may be, because they're not that expensive to make. And Hyrule Warriors is a half-funded project. Half-funded by Nintendo. The rest of it's coming out of freaking Tecmo Koei's pocket. So at the end of the day, this game, all it has to do is just typically sell 150,000 units in North America or all combined, and that game will automatically make profit for both Nintendo and Tecmo Koei. And that's the thing. So when Awada came out and stated for the record that, oh, we're going to be getting third-party support, does not automatically apply to AAA titles. It could be any level of consistency, budget, mediumware, and AAA. And so far, we already are getting that, but from the eastern side of the world. Honestly, I can give two shits about EA, because as bad as that company is right now, I'm glad their products are not coming to the actual Wii U. Activision, on the other hand, Call of Duty has run its fine straight, whatever the case may be. Yeah, we may not be getting games like Destiny or the next-gen Call of Duty of Advanced Warfare, so to speak, but I'm not holding that to any grudges just yet. However, with that said, though, of course, Ubisoft... whatever. Ubisoft is the king of lying between their frickin' teeth, and they have been doing it for years with bullshots, false promises, and bullshit DLC practices. And with the latest one being, of course, speed pants. But my point is, look,
oh my God, I'm missing the speed pants.
All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I'd rather have a lot more third-party support from the eastern side of the world than have the fucking western side of the world make games. Because let's be honest, western developers, they fuck up royally compared to the actual Japanese side of the world, man. That's just a fucking fact at the end of the day. So if people are pissed about games from EA not coming over, so be it. But you got to remember one thing at the end of the day, man. This is from a company that was nominated for the worst company for 2 years in a freaking row, people. And you still want them to freaking support this console? Yeah.
Oh, well, on top of that, they let EA con them into actually paying for a demo.
Yeah.
and they called it EA Early Access.
Yeah. Well, you know the saddest thing about EA is that, and here's why, a lot of people, they're like, well, Nintendo needs to work harder to gather relationships with third parties. Look, let me tell you something, okay? Microsoft got into an exclusive relationship with EA. EA basically, they the development for Titanfall. And you know what? By next year, Titanfall is going to be on PS4. Watch.
Titanfall 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they've already said. I think the sequel's gonna be coming
Watch.
out on PS4.
So basically, Microsoft paid for a game that didn't really help their console sell that well. That's gonna be given to their chief rival, which is the PS4. Microsoft, whoever inked that deal is a moron. I'm sorry, they are a moron.
Can I make an interjection here?
Go ahead.
Speaking about budget, remember about the whole situation with Fire Emblem Awakening, that to get profit or to keep making the franchise, they had to make they have to sell at least 250,000.
I remember that.
Look,
I remember that.
yeah,
I thought that was for like
look how
Look what happened.
yeah, look how much it's sold right now, and to be quite fair, I will say that even though it was a 3DS game, but I wouldn't, I would bet that almost every game made by Nintendo has that type of budget, and I mean even Wii U games, maybe a tad higher than that, but yeah, that alone tells me that hey, Nintendo is actually good or efficient with their budget, and they ain't going to overblow it that these third parties are doing. That they need astronomical sales figures to even make a profit to begin with.
I think they have a lot better third-party relationships than people actually think that they do.
Well, see, because the reason why it is because they're looking at it from perspective. I think Red Fox mentioned it earlier that when people say third party, the first thing that comes to their mind is EA,
AAA.
Activision, and things like that, big AAA titles. When basically third party is anyone other than a console manufacturer. And I hate to say this, and some viewers may not even know what the hell this is, but I'm actually looking forward to Affordable Space Adventures.
Yeah,
That is a damn indie title. I'm looking forward to the day. When I saw it at the damn direct, I was like, dude, I don't know why, but I want that fucking game.
I want President of the Earth. I want President of the Earth that was kickstarted and then Atlas picked it up. I want that. It feels very Earthbound like. It really does.
I mean, and to me, Nintendo, what they're doing is they're creating their own third parties, not only just by making new development buildings, but also, like you mentioned earlier, they're getting to these collaborations where they're working closely with other, third-party companies to make an exclusive title. Now, some may head to the PC, and there are others that actually may head to all consoles. But a lot of these third-party games, whether it be AAA, or AA, whatever it may be, a lot of these are actually exclusive to Wii U, or they play better.
Go anywhere else. I mean, if you look at a game like Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, that game will never see the light of day on any other console, minus Nintendo itself. That's a Fire Emblem freaking related game.
We see it at all on the Wii U. Oh god.
Yep. And I think by them securing this locking formality, this is their new blue ocean strategy, man.
And then
This is what you want to do for a while.
And just to add another point to what I was saying earlier about the whole conspiracy thing, let's take another company, another game, Square Enix.
Oh,
Before you all go
God.
off,
Oh god.
oh
God.
let me finish. I know you want to go.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let you guys go off. Okay, I'm gonna let you. But so we're not getting Final Fantasy, even though I think it will be great with gamepad integration. What I mean, and of course, what is it? It's Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest, yeah.
Yeah, Dragon
Not
Quest.
coming, may not even be localized over here.
Dragon Quest VII.
But check this out. So what? So I think Nintendo said, okay, fine. You want to have it that way? That's fine. You don't want to give us Tomb Raider? That's perfectly fine. But as far as RPGs, come on now. Xenoblade Chronicles X, far more better. I mean, it's way beyond what any Final Fantasy could ever be, in my opinion.
Yep.
It really is. And then even Zelda, I mean, far beyond. So at this point, they probably just said, we don't need, the okay or even the good RPGs anymore. We can make an RPG that's way better than our last RPG, which was a sleeper hit, but now people are going out of their way to pay $100 just to get a copy.
Hey, Sean.
Well, you want to know what adds insult to injury? Is that the people who used to make all of Square Enix's awesome RPGs work at Monolith Soft,
Yep.
Intelligent Systems, Mistwalker, and some of them work at Camelot. So
Except
basically,
for one.
all the people,
Hold on.
all the
Except for
people.
one though. Except for one. And to me, this guy, as great as he is, this is a stupid statement he made.
Who?
I'm not sure if anyone knows who he is, but Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Yep.
Basically, all the Final Fantasies up until I think like 10. I mean, up to 10.
He's at
He
Mistwalker.
was either. I mean, he was actually executive producer,
Yeah.
director. Basically, you can call him the father of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And he left the company to make, I think that I forget that damn
Blue
game that
Dragon.
came out. No, it's another game.
Last story.
Last story.
Yeah,
Not
but they
Last
need to
Story.
do Dragon 2.
It was one on Xbox. Last something. I forget what it
Lost
is.
Odyssey. Lost
Yeah,
Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey, yes. But he made a statement recently saying that because he's making, I guess, a game for the mobile, and he says if the mobile game sells well, he'll come back. He said he'd come back to consoles, and I said to myself, well, he's not coming back.
No.
Oh God!
This is why Square Enix is becoming less and less relevant nowadays because of all the stupid BS that they're pulling out with the mobile and.
Well, he's not Square Enix. He's just the most prominent person to ever work for Square.
It's just
Well, that's not. Well, no. Hironobu Sakaguchi and Nomura. Nomura Sakaguchi.
Fuck Nomura.
What? Nomura? Man, let me tell you something. Nomura helped make Chrono Trigger, so no. Now the dude who's currently in charge of their RPGs over at Square Enix, who made Final Fantasy 13, yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah.
But to hell with him. But Nomura, look, he was part of the dream team that made Chrono Trigger. Like 4 of the top people in their industry came together to make that game. And it's like one of the best RPGs ever made. So I'll give him credit for it. But look, Sakaguchi, he can do whatever he wants to. It's his bit. Hey, look, all I'm saying is that all the talented people left Square Enix. They're gone. What they have left was at the bottom of the barrel, and they're scraping to get them. So, because if they were good, they would have left.
But to add to the conspiracy, though, how best can you guarantee Xenoblade Chronicles sells well? They want to make sure they don't make the same mistake that Xenoblade did in the beginning. So, how do you guarantee that it sells? You make sure your console has no other competition in the same genre.
Yep.
Because if someone buys a Wii U, oh man, I want a good RPG. There's only one, and basically you only need one. But guess what? There are 2 coming out within the next year. That's what I'm saying. That I think secretly, I think they're actually saying that we know that you want to give us a stealth release, so we know that you want to, make your game for our console, probably even a shitty port. But how about we just shut down this deal with this game solidly and just make our own and make sure our own game is not competing with outside third parties. And in other words, to simplify it, you keep it in the family.
Yep.
And what better way to attract?
If you use your own money to make your own game, you get all the profit, all the return. There's no royalties to pay out.
Yep.
So that's how they get back to being the Iron Fist they used to be back in NES days.
Yep.
You make third parties. You let them go ahead and waste their money with with games like Destiny that they plan on spending over $500 million over the next 10 years. And to me, that only can mean one thing, and we're already seeing it: a DLC fest.
Yep. DLC and
sorry, it's an expansion fest, but it's still whatever.
And then,
anyone remember?
They're saying that if you pre-order Advanced Warfare, you
get that
get a level 20 skin or something for Destiny. I'm like, so now I gotta pay $60 to get some exclusive shit?
Yep. Well, anyone remember the Borderlands 2 versus Borderlands 1 DLC? Like Borderlands 2, if you want to get all the DLC, unless you get the Game of the Year edition, is like you'll spend like $250 to get everything. And that is what is well and truly what I like to call bullshit. But
Terrible.
Now, I'll allow you guys to all go off on Square Enix if you really do want to.
Okay.
I'm
All right. I have a few words to say. I'm sorry. A few words. Okay.
Hey, we're all grown here. Say what you gotta say.
All right. So everyone remembers. All right. So the last Kingdom Hearts game to release was Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS, right? And the team that behind that is, I believe, if I'm not incorrect, is the same team that's making Kingdom Hearts 3 right now. Everyone knows how great of a game Dream Drop Distance is, and everyone knows how well that sold on 3DS. My only concern is that how is it that Square Enix is going to pretty much take the funds that they got from the successful Dream Drop Distance that Nintendo fans gave them the money for to make the next iteration of the game and not bring it to a Nintendo platform at all. It's kind of
Well,
like
they've been doing that on the Game Boy Advance, the DS, and the 3DS. This is something they've been doing for 3 handheld console generations. It's not. I mean, that's what Square Enix does. They make their money off of games that sell well in the handhelds, and they take that money and put it into console games that sometimes sell well, but Final Fantasy 13 didn't sell to predictions. Final Fantasy 13 2 didn't sell to predictions. Final Fantasy 13 3 is flopping as we speak. But the money they used to make that game was made off the backs of Nintendo console owners. So whatever.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to absolutely break sales expectations. That's what I think, and it was only because everyone's so excited about it and everyone wants it.
Hold on, but that's if it's still coming. And the reason why I say that, no offense to Games Rose out there, but it's because have we heard anything about Last Guardian?
Oh no, it was good. The last statement Sony said was that they were waiting for an appropriate time to reintroduce the game.
So okay. With that said, hold on, I'm gonna humor you. With that said, how long has Final Fantasy 13 Versus been in development?
Since 2008.
Since Christ first came to Earth.
So basically, they made a lot of promises, but they only had a couple of videos to show. And you mean to tell me, and after what 6, 7, 8 years, the damn thing still says to be announced?
No, but wait a second. Here's the worst thing about Final Fantasy 15, which is why I have zero faith in Square Enix right now. Final Fantasy 15, as they're calling it now, started out as a PS2 game.
What?
Yeah, the idea for it started out as a PS2 game, and the PS2 was starting to go down, so Square Enix was like, oh, well, we can't build it using this engine. We have to do something different. So, we'll put it on the PS3, and the dude who was in charge of it left, so it's
wow.
Here's the thing. We all know about games that have been in development hell and how basically it's really like either you come out with it or it's in development hell and it comes out and it's garbage. Like Duke Nukem.
Oh my gosh, dude! You have to go there. You have to go there.
Duke Nukem was not that bad of a game, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Yes, it was that bad. No, it was that bad of a game. Yes, it was. It was that bad of a game. Yes, it was.
Are we gonna?
Graphically, it looked great, but it was terrible. It was 2 weapons. I can use 2 weapons. Oh no.
The problem
and pick up another one and switch out. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's great. That's a great gameplay design right there. Modern gameplay design. But my point is this: I'm not holding out much hope for Final Fantasy 15 because they're using a game. I mean, they basically they just admitted they just started making the game. They created a new studio to make it like a few days ago. They started a new studio to make the game. And they showed nothing about it at the TGS. I mean, no one even coughed and talked about it. So,
no one dares speak the name Final Fantasy 15.
I just don't care.
Hey, I'll read an article from Kotaku real quick, and it's quoted. It said, "Well, when the game now called Final Fantasy 15 was first announced back in May 2006, the president was George W. Bush. Kingdom Hearts 2 was brand new. Pop star Lorde was 10 years old. Next gen meant Xbox 360, Wii, and PS3. The latter 2 consoles didn't even come out yet. Hannah Montana had just debuted. Twitter didn't exist. Saddam Hussein was still alive. Little Miss Sunshine was about to hit theaters, and gamers across the world were eagerly awaiting a little video game called Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
Oh my God! I think I remember that. Wait.
And before we let this continue, let me introduce the man I refer to as the Techno Man. We got Shadow Fox in here, guys.
Oh,
How y'all doing?
Sneaking his way in here.
I warn anybody that's listening: do not debate this dude. Don't.
They'll destroy you. I
there are
saw,
re-
I saw him. I
there
saw
are
the
re- there,
podcast. He
there are
destroyed the
recent
dude.
examples. So please, that
But I have A plus certification.
shut up.
I got an F plus
Oh
certification.
man, that
It's
shit
more
still cracks
powerful than a
me
C plus
up,
plus.
dude.
It's different. I got it through a friend of mine.
I don't think I'm anywhere.
What gets to me is that your response, Shadow, you were like, you said, so what? So what does that memory? So where does that go? GDDR5.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay,
Shadow,
Where are we?
I lost my shit watching that video debate you had with that clown, dude. Holy
Oh,
God, it was hilarious.
awesome.
But I mean, that is a unfortunately that is a hive mind mentality that is almost in every forum. Be it Google Plus, be it insert website here, or comments pages on IGN or what have you. It's everywhere, and whenever you question anybody like, hey, well, where'd you get the information from? They'll just go ha 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 blah 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 and then start trolling about the console or whatever, right? They won't stick to the topic. So I'm like, it'll be kind of interesting to see how you can do that live. You can't really do that live. You can't go and jump and try to look for sources live. So yeah, so when you corner somebody like that, and I mean that wasn't necessarily the intention. It actually happened. I didn't even think, because since he declared himself as a troll before we ever had any discussions a long time ago, I didn't expect him to accept the invite or anything like that. And I'm like, dude, he actually answered it. That was the first post that I put in there. I can't believe he accepted the invite. So and so we got to talking about it and everything. I'm like, what do you really believe in? And he started saying, I guess he really believed the stuff that he was saying, and I was like, nah, bro, let's break it down. So, there was a lot of back and forth in the comment section about this, that, and the third, and you don't know this and you don't know that, because if you know anything about hardware, you know this, and then blah blah blah. And I'm like, it sounds to me like you're just cutting and pasting, which is
The Wii U is weak. That's the thing that gets me. You talk to these people, they're like, the Wii U is weak. It's like, I'm seeing games on this system that is embarrassing, the PS4 and the Xbox One. I mean, graphically. I don't know anything about, maybe, but I mean, you can't really judge a console in its first year anyway, because they're bridging that gap from last gen. But
see, well, this is what I don't understand, right? Any self-respecting troll would know who their opposition is, right? And this logo that I have as my logo right now has been a logo I've had for a very long time, and I've had a lot of Google hits with this name and this logo before I ever got on Google Plus or YouTube. So I don't know if you ever been to any of these sites before they became dormant, but Xbox added Nintendo's even G4 before it died or whatever. I existed as a forum entity there. And I've made multiple forum posts that basically, like, I'm like, look, I'm tired of people talking all the BS. This is the real deal. And I made a long post regarding GameCube versus Xbox. I completely put PS2 out of the comparison altogether. And I laid down the law on a lot of things that a lot of people thought were true, but they were just basically misconceptions. Yeah, BS, because you took this PR guy said this PR guy said that, this one developer said this, but took it completely out of context from what somebody else said. And it's like, hey, well, we have this thing, so it means that we can do this. But they didn't tell you that, hey, it can also be done another way. So like, the GameCube doesn't have shaders, so it can't do bump mapping. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Well, this is a segue off of that, and before I do, I'd like to also welcome in 006. Are you there?
You had to step away for a second.
Yeah,
okay, then.
He's
just a segue on top of that. I mean, I like to ask you a question, Shadow, but based on what I mentioned earlier about Nintendo probably shutting down a lot of these games because they either know that they're going to be gimped, limited, horrible DLC practices, or basically just completely buggy and flawed. Do you think and the developers giving all the damn reasons in the world, even changing their reasoning, except saying, what the truth probably is? What are your opinions on that?
Well, it's kind of a ghost in the shell kind of question, because I do know for a very long time, Nintendo wasn't giving third parties any of the play that a lot of the other systems were. So for the longest time, Call of Duty was announced late, not because of Activision or them wanting to slam the system or whatever. It was because of Nintendo. Because Nintendo's like, we need to see your game running before it gets an ESRB rating for our platform, before you're able to do any trailers for it, before you're able to announce anything. It's got to make certain. So, that, and for the past couple of years, that was the only reason why nobody ever saw anything about a Call of Duty game for a Nintendo platform until damn near November. So, they'll announce it. They'll say, "Hey, yeah, we're going to have to put it on there," but you wouldn't see any footage until that game's almost done, because Nintendo. I mean, why announce the game if it's going to be vaporware or it's going to be a shell of its former self?
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
true.
You mean like Watch Dogs is doing right now for the Wii U?
Oh god.
man.
Go ahead guys.
That game's coming. We don't know.
Don't you?
Wait, do you honestly? Here's a question for you there, Shadow Fox. Do you think that High Moon Studios is the actual one that's going to be porting over Advanced Warfare? Because they are making the ones for the PS3 and the Xbox 360 version of that game.
I really don't think it's going to happen this time around. And the reason why I say it's not going to happen this time around is because the developers have already started to take sides, if you will. And they're starting to see that they're being called on a lot of the BS that they've been spewing before. You can't use install base as an issue anymore. You can't use this game won't sell anymore, or this type of genre won't sell anymore, because Nintendo has already done that themselves in spades. So you can't say, oh well, games don't sell on this platform when you're looking at what game is this that launched with the Wii U? Nintendo Land. No, Nintendo Land isn't even the best-selling game on the Wii U, right? But it outsold all of the other first-party games for any of the other quote-unquote next-generation platforms. So, and that game was only a pack-in for, I don't even think it was 6 months.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 6 months.
So that game, basically sold on, Nintendo's name and marketing alone. They probably could have pushed it a little bit more, but they didn't. They're like, you know what, New Super Mario Bros. U is it, and that became the new pack-in. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
But the whole situation with that is kind of complicated, because they can't say that games don't sell on the platform. You have Mario Kart 8, which basically, I mean, it's going to outsell Watch Dogs on 3 platforms, on 3 different platforms, on one platform by itself. Yep. So you got stuff like that happening. So they can't say that. They can't say the online install base isn't there, because Wii U almost crashed Google Plus and YouTube the weekend that Mario Kart 8 came out.
You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't say the online demand isn't there. You can't say the infrastructure isn't there. You can't say certain features aren't there. You can't say voice chat isn't there. You can't say DLC isn't there, and all those things are there in place. So there are no excuses, and it's starting to go back to the same topic that Reggie Fils-Aimé gave a long time ago, and it was actually in 2011, right after they announced the Wii U. And it was like, okay, so before it was horsepower or a different type of controller that we couldn't do. Well, now we have different types of controls. We have controls for any fan base. So you can play your casual or your hardcore shooter game. Now you have the horsepower to handle any type of engine, and all the engines these days anyway, now they're all scalable. So it doesn't matter what running. So it doesn't matter, as long as you have an HD platform, any game can run on it. So that's not an excuse anymore. So he said, so now it comes down to the games. What type of games do you have that you can't get anywhere else? And that answer, that was a question that was given to Jeff Keighley at the time, who was really badgering him, and he was like, yeah. That was his response. So, it's starting to come full circle, because and we see it coming to fruition. Did anybody watch Razor Fist's latest video?
Oh God!
Yes, definitely. That was hands down.
It's full of truth.
When was it up?
What if the Wii U launched and it was 2 years before the 4th or the 5th first party game showed up? would that platform even be alive, or at least according to the media anyway? Would it be alive or would it be declared dead? Yet it's so acceptable for the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly, because they're going through the same drought that the Wii had in its first freaking year.
Exactly.
So it makes no sense.
And I try to mention this to a couple of other people too, and people like to compare, say, "Oh, well, the Wii U's been out for 2 years, and of course it's going to sell 7 million, and Xbox One only has 5 million, blah blah blah." And I'm like, well, it sold exactly the same as the Wii U the first 6 months. Both of them were at 3.4 million, and nobody said the Xbox One was selling like shit, and it sucks.
Nope.
Nobody said that. Nobody started canceling games.
But I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you what's funny. Ubisoft canceled, is holding some games allegedly hostage for the Wii U, but they're still making Kinect games for a Kinectless Xbox One. Now that's what I like to call bullshit.
You know what I find rather hilarious? You know what I really find rather hilarious is when the CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, came out and stated on record that, people want Just Dance, right? But the funny thing is that he was looking at Wii sale numbers, not Wii U sale numbers.
Why?
Is bullshit. Yeah, because 2014 release, both got simultaneous releases on Wii and Wii U. The Wii version sold like 6-point-some-odd million, where the actual Wii U version only sold like not even a quarter of that.
Yeah, I think it was maybe that. I think it was maybe. It didn't even break
50,000.
No, not even close. It didn't even break 500,000. I think it only broke I think it was like 230K or something like that for its initial launch. But what I find rather hilarious though is the fact that he's looking at a different console number compared to what the Wii itself or what the actual Wii U numbers are, which to me is no, you're doing it wrong. You should be looking at the Wii U numbers. You can clearly see that Assassin's Creed sold more.
So what does that tell you if a major third-party studio, right, a major third-party publisher, their head president can't distinguish between two completely different platforms?
I disagree with you on that one.
What?
I got one better for you.
CEO by being that stupid. He can tell the difference. They just want an excuse. That's all it is. It's an excuse.
I can one up that. I think it's even worse when the president of a company don't even know why his own damn console is selling so good.
Yeah, that was a little disturbing.
When you come out to the gaming populace and say, well, I don't know why the PS4 is selling so damn good.
Ain't got no game.
What they don't?
No, they don't know.
Can I say something about this thing? This one. Okay. Shuhei Yoshida himself doesn't know how the PS4 is selling so good right now. Well, let's go back a bit. During the time when just before the PS4 was being released, didn't Kaz Hirai said that the PS4 has to succeed in order for it to exist in the market? And to me, I would say this whole 10 million sales is a callback by well, let's just say the majority of the Sony fans who say, no, we got to buy these PS4 in bulk so Sony can still survive on this thing. That's what I'm saying right now.
First of all, I don't believe that 10 million sold. I don't believe that 10 million sold. I don't. Because you have to remember.
10 million shipped.
I don't think it's 10 million shipped. I tell you what I think. I think that for every 10 people who buy a PS4, 2 of them are returning it. Because there are no games for it, for them to play that they like. I mean, they got it out of hype. And
okay, I call bull on that, man, because, I mean, I've seen many people play that Playroom shit. I mean,
or Blu-rays.
It makes an excellent Blu-ray player, I've heard.
But I'm like, just buy a really cheap media PC?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Well, my point is
common sense,
basically man. for every 1 or 2 out of 10 people buying a PS4, we know they're getting returned, because if you go to any GameStop or place that has a trade-in policy, you see tons of those things coming back. Okay.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is this: maybe they sold 10 million but I know there aren't 10 million hooked up and playing.
And you know what else is worse? I went to like a Walmart about a month ago, and you know, like the PS4 demo unit.
Yeah.
Guess what? Guess which trailer they're still playing, even though this game was canceled.
Oh, that
NBA
basketball
Live.
game. Yeah.
And I'm looking like some little kid or somebody that's into gaming but not that much is gonna be like, man, I want that game. It's like, dude, it's not coming. It's just not coming.
Well, apparently, a large majority of people that bought that platform bought it to play Watch Dogs, and that's why I made that little image because they really got trolled, man. They got trolled. They thought that
wanted
this
that
was
next
quote
gen
unquote next gen.
gaming.
They bought the
Yeah.
game, and they started trading
I
it
have
in.
a question.
So and now they're stuck being forced to play Infamous. Okay, go ahead.
I got a question. So, what? They couldn't buy it on their PS3s and 360s? Because I did. I mean,
Oh,
they're
they're
still making
they're,
stuff
see,
for
they're
the
not
what's
1080p.
Hold on, no, the
Exactly.
PS3
So
version.
you need graphics for a game now?
The PS4 version comes with an extra hour of content.
Oh yeah, I can't forget
Whatever.
that.
On top of it has a new skin. I think it's like a white coat or
Mhm.
white hat or whatever that Aiden wears in the game.
Apparently, Sony and Microsoft have decided what the 8th generation features are going to be, just like they did in the 7th generation.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, they promised those features in the 7th generation also.
Yep.
So, how do you define what's next gen when it's really 7th gen? Because last I checked, the PS3 was supposed to do two 1080p streams.
Yep.
The PS3
And all it can do is one 540p.
in most games. For the most part, unless you're playing like
540p.
I don't know, Super Stardust.
Yeah, well, the sad thing in all of this is that, like, I'm seeing games from both of these systems that are supposedly going to showcase the power of the system. And to me, these feel like if someone had actually pushed the 7th gen consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PS3, they could have done this last gen. Like, I look at a game like, what was the downloadable game off the PSN that was like a big hit for the PS4 when it first came out?
Resogun?
Resogun. That looks, to
Yeah.
me, that looks like a up-res PSN game from PS3 era. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all they did was offload all the extra polygons and stuff on the GPU and on the GPU shader side, and they just threw those out to do a whole bunch of transforms instead of actually programming it right for the PlayStation 3. GPU,
Yeah, I mean, it does not look like, oh my god, this can only be done with this console. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel that way to me.
Polygon wise, that's not something that's impossible on the Wii.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it just couldn't be done in HD.
when you said their Shadow Fox, there were games run that was using AK textures, right? What
Mhm.
games are you referring to?
Okay, so Fast Racing Neo is reportedly supposed to be using those 8K textures coming
yeah.
soon.
I remember shitting
And-
on saying that on the record. Yep.
And I don't know if any of you have looked at any of the file sizes or any of the texture sizes in Super Mario 3D World.
They're quite
But
small.
there are a couple of patches in that game that are pretty detailed, and I'm like, how is this a one gig game? So there's some type of compression algorithm that Nintendo has really nailed down, going all the way back to the GameCube era.
Yep.
And it doesn't make any sense. Like, so what Rogue Leader on the GameCube was a 200 megabyte disc,
Yep.
and that was one of the most detailed games on the system.
Yeah,
So,
that
okay.
was the game that was also at the time too as well, was like the only game that pushed the GameCube at the time, right?
Yeah,
Like
at the
50%
time.
of
Yes.
its power or something. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I'll practically
Well,
not.
actually,
Well, since we are discussing next gen or what's considered next gen, I do remember them before, when they were talking about or beefing up the PS4 and Xbox One, and they were talking about how cloud computing then it is going to revolutionize AI and physics in the game.
No.
Then I
yeah, let me tell you.
Terminators.
Then I heard about the awful driving in Watch Dogs. Then I heard about the awful AI in Last of Us. And to me, I was just like, you know what? I mean, it's funny how y'all did remaster that game, but you didn't make the AI any fucking
Any
better with
better?
the.
Because you're not locked to the cloud. The gamers got mad about that because Sony and Microsoft were going to do it.
The power of the cloud.
They were going to be on. They were both going to be online only.
But let me say this though.
It's about that I'm playing
I can
Skype
tell
like
you
right now.
the most frustrated AI I ever played, man. Fucking Mario Kart 150cc.
Oh god.
Done.
Oh, those.
Mirror
But
mode.
I don't know how computers can have such good accuracy with a green shell.
Yeah.
They make them seem like red shells.
So which game do you think is the worst? I'm still kind of siding with the original Super Nintendo version because some of that rubber banding in
I agree.
150C. Oh my god.
I agree. I like the Super Nintendo version because the red
Right,
shells in that
Super-
game. I just mentioned this last night, but the red shells in that game, they didn't have to travel a certain distance and didn't lock on. The moment they left your car, they would immediately lock on to the nearest racer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You could be facing forward and someone could be perpendicular to you. That thing will automatically turn left or right and then go behind you to get them. The reason I noticed because there were times I actually shot a red shell in battle mode and the person was behind me, and
Yeah,
if
turn
I didn't
around.
shoot that shit and move, I got hit by my own red shell.
Mhm.
Yeah, that has happened to me before.
That's just down to that would have just been down to the basic coding at the time. They were literally just mapping from one value to the next rather than doing it in a more real time manner.
Those
But that
are
is
real
so
home-
funny though.
Yeah, it's funny. And then I also missed the feather, which gave you like a little 2 second, a 2 second grievance from the red shell, a 2 second break. You would have to circle around and get you, but you could jump over shit with it and avoid red shells altogether. So I missed that. So yeah, the first one is the best to me.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that was probably the best, either the best or the most fun I've had playing
I have one
against
question.
the CPU.
But yeah, I mean, I don't understand how they come with this cloud computing nonsense because before they even want to, I don't understand what is it up with these super technological jumps when we haven't even mastered one set of technology. You want to automatically make a massive jump to the next. Sort out getting bandwidth running properly in people's homes. Sort out getting good internet bandwidth running consistently in people's homes and getting internet around the world before you think about going into cloud computing because clearly you're showing you're not ready for it.
Coupon has a question.
This is a Coupon was gonna say something.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
So I have a dilemma. So I don't have a PS4 or an Xbox One. What's selling me on that as far as getting one because I can still get all the new gen games on my 360. Are they gonna get rid of it?
PS4 and that white Xbox One.
Hold on. Everybody be quiet. You must get an Xbox One to play Killer Instinct.
Good
Why?
point.
You're gonna play Killer Instinct. You're gonna spend $400 to play Killer Instinct. That's what you're gonna do. Unfortunately, I'm a fanboy.
Hold on. Keyword, unfortunately, he's a fanboy.
Yes, I spent $540 for this.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And guess what? He only got one character.
Yeah, well, no, I got the full game. I paid.
But what
I
do you
know you have
think?
to pay for those characters.
Yeah, and I paid for everybody, right? But the funniest thing is, I only play with one. That's what's so funny. I play with the one that's free.
Wow, Shadow. Wow.
Okay, Shadow, you are now ejected from this podcast.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think.
But I get everything though. I'm that guy, so.
Because all the games I want on next gen are still coming to 360, so it's no purpose for me to buy either one of those.
Honestly,
No, there isn't.
I think you should.
you could wait.
Sorry. Yeah, I think you should wait until they come out with a bundle that has a game that's exclusively on the PS4, the Xbox One.
I mean,
and
I'm
white-
not going to overdrive, but I'm not going to buy a
PS4.
bundle for that.
Hold on, Red. You're wrong there now, because last time I checked and what I've been seeing, Destiny is exclusive to the PS4. Damn it!
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. I'm pretty sure it is. Because Xbox
is
One
exclusive
has
to
that
Xbox
Destiny.
One.
Has that
I have
Destiny
evidence to back this
trailer.
up. Okay, I have evidence. They have a Destiny bundle. They have content.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from what I've seen, it's not coming on any other system, current gen or last gen.
It's gonna be on PC, so
You guys are so full of crap.
for all those
really.
watching, for all those tuning into this podcast, I am not ignorant or stupid. I'm being very sarcastic. You guys can continue.
Hey, Coupon, did I just watch a video from you not too long ago?
I believe so. I don't know.
With your pickups with Kirby and Wonderful 101 and all that?
Hold on, was she singing? Was she singing?
Oh my God! Please play that game.
No, leave it. I haven't seen it yet. Stop.
I had to. They copyright claimed me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that fast.
Did you see my comment to your video?
I think so. Refresh my memory.
It said, please play Wonderful 101 right now.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. I'm already. I'm gonna start on it tomorrow.
Excellent.
Good. Beautiful.
That's not good enough, damn it. He said start now.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay, don't be a misogynistic now,
In
Kevin.
honor of Shadow and Coupon, I will also restart Wonderful 101 tomorrow.
Please.
it's really good. I started it yesterday.
Okay,
I'm a Killer Instinct fanboy, and Wonderful 101 it was Game of the Year 2013. Sorry.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
Oh wow! I just realized
What's up
that.
with that Beautiful Joe reboot? What's up with that? They bringing that?
They
coming
better.
out?
What
I
reboot?
need another Beautiful Joe.
For real.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we do need another beautiful Joe.
Not
Imagine
reboot,
a
but
beautiful-
a whole new one.
Imagine Beautiful Joe with today's graphics. Oh my
Contra.
god.
Yeah, that would be good.
Contra.
Contra. Okay, you need to stop.
We're looking at
I'm not allowed to talk anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Actually, I want a new
games, and I'm
Okami.
like,
I want a new Okami.
okay,
me
Red is
too,
no longer
God,
allowed to
yes.
talk either. Red and Coupon, no more talking.
Oh, and I have another topic though, and this is in well, basically the whole Capcom, Mega Man fiasco that's going on. Wait before you go off. Hold your damn horses. Even though you just said I can feel it, but what I was going to say is another reason why I think this is going on behind closed doors is because you got the Striker Gunvolt that just came out, which I heard was pretty good.
Amazing.
And I heard the Mighty Number 9
It is an awesome
the
game.
successor.
Even better.
If you think about
It
this,
is.
Now, if you think about this, Capcom may be funny with Mega Man, but does Nintendo, for the games they have coming to their console, they really want them to sell? When you have too many games that fit the same genre releasing close together, some people either wait for one or wait for the other, but one of them it tends to end up being lagging in sales. And that's why I think that they're trying to keep competition at bay because they want their own first-party shit to sell. I mean, if you got Call of Duty, Devil's Third, and let's just say, and I'm not saying I wish this, so don't cuss me out, let's just say Battlefield.
Oh boy.
If it all came out on the Wii U, I mean, honestly, most core gamers are going to gravitate towards the other two, not Devil's Third. They may be curious, but it definitely won't sell 10 million units in the first month. But if it had no competition, it could easily sell 3 to 5 million units
Playing
in a
Super
quarter.
Mario World in the background.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Just point out, Ken, it wouldn't sell 10 million units in the first month anyway because Wii U install base is only at 7 million.
But I'm just simply saying that those
People will buy
franchises
two
are
Wii
sell.
U's for that game.
No, but I think
Playing,
that
I'm
it would
almost
be.
forced to buy two myself right now. My fiance is getting in my ass about this shit. But go
No, but
continue.
I do think it would be very. I think it's not unlikely to see if the Wii U gets surpasses 9 million just on.
I'm not disputing the fact that it's not going to sell well this holiday.
No, I'm saying on Smash Brothers alone this holiday season. Wii U, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be the it game to have. I mean, you're going to have people who have PS4s and Xbox Ones getting mad, like going to GameStop or Walmart or wherever they buy their electronics and being like,
you know,
"You gotta get it."
I don't think people realize the special gem and selling point of the new Smash Brothers game.
They don't know.
And that is the fact that the four of the original gaming mascots are all in Smash
They're
Brothers.
all there.
Capcom,
Exactly.
Mega Man, Sonic, and
Hold
Mario.
on. Hey, hold
Well,
on.
Granddaddy.
What's the day of the Japanese release on the 3DS?
September 20th?
No.
Is it this month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, in about a few weeks, our damn Google Plus feeds are gonna light the hell up because we're gonna be too damn curious and seeing too much news about it.
Look, Nintendo's 3DS is going to stick its foot up the Vita's behind in Japan.
What is Vita? Dude, the Vita, dude.
What is a Vita?
What is? I don't know.
Is that a new phone from Sony?
I got one comment to say about the Vita, and I'm gonna mimic Butterworthy. For 50 cents a day, for a little over a year, you can own.
Well, Nintendo's gonna pour salt on the wound because they're gonna release.
There's a lot.
I have a perfect way to explain what the Vita is. Sony's biggest oxymoron.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the word Vita, it means
the Vita
if
is
you
a
look at the word
Betamax
Vita, no, because the reason I say that because if you look at the word Vita, it means life, but the console's dead.
Yeah, that's irony. That's irony, but it's not their fault though, because I mean, we could go down the list if we want to. The Atari Lynx, we can go down the line with the Sega Nomad, Game Gear.
Yep.
Tiger Electronics insert model here.
The N-Gage.
The N-Gage itself.
Gizmondo.
The Taco of War.
Gizmondo.
Got run over.
Rondo,
I mean, that's just how it is. I'm sorry. When Sony came out there and said it's so powerful, I'm like, stop. Look, haven't you learned anything from history? Stop trying to put this powerful handheld in someone's hand.
What bugs me out is that it's been proven time and time again the most powerful system does not win.
It's the games. Even for the 3DS, when the 3DS first came out, it's like, here's this port of Super Street Fighter 4. Here's this other port of Resident Evil 5, basically the endurance mode. And none of that stuff was selling until Nintendo started coming out with real titles, and third parties started actually carrying and putting real titles on there. Then the system started picking up. Even on Nintendo's end, you can't just take a console experience and throw it on the portable. It's not going to work.
What shocks me with that, though, in the games, and I've said this many times before, is that with the 3DS, it's been proven that it's not more powerful than the Wii, yet all the engines that run on PS3 and 360 were running on the 3DS, yet they said they couldn't get them running on the Wii.
Yeah. It's called excuses. I told you. We said it earlier well, you weren't here. They have a Rolodex of excuses that they pull out to say why a game can't run on the Wii or the Wii U. Well, it's not powerful enough. But you put it on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and some cases a damn phone.
Hold on. Let me quote Mark Rain. The Wii, the original Wii was too weak to run Unreal Engine 3. Then 2 years later, we see Unreal Engine 3 being ported to the iPhone 3GS with less gigaflops than the Wii.
No, let me kill it even more. I'm gonna kill it even more than that. Unreal Engine 2.5 was running on the Wii at launch before any game on the PS3 or Xbox 360 was using Unreal Engine 2.5. The original Red Steel was on Unreal Engine 2.5.
Yes, it was.
Interesting.
It's just lazy. It's just they have a Rolodex of sorry excuses as to why. I mean, instead of just being honest, look, you put garbage on your console. Okay?
But it's not their fault. See, it's the fault of the people out there that believe it. Like here, to me, there's one obvious example on the Wii. On the Wii itself, that sets all this shit. It can debunk most of the shit they're saying, if not all of it.
Mario Galaxy.
No, the Wii was too weak. Yet you ported Modern Warfare 3.
Yep.
Everything was there. It was just in 480p.
Everything about that game was there. And even now they say, well, the Wii U is too weak to realize our next-gen dreams. You put Ghosts on there. Let me go back even further. They put Black Ops running on one damn core.
Yep.
Black Ops 2 was the definitive version using one core, and it wasn't even completely optimized, and yet it was the best version.
You know what? Here's the joke.
Further proof the graphics ain't everything.
It's not even the point of graphics being everything. This is the point here. It's nothing to do with the power of these systems. These are three different systems of different architecture. Even in the era of the Wii, when GoldenEye was made from the ground up for the Wii, and they ported it to the PS3 and Xbox 360, the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions had issues.
Optimization, my friend.
Well,
I
yeah,
forgot about that one.
hold on, Michael. Let me correct you. We had 3 different systems running 2 different types of architecture because the PS4 and Xbox 360, come on, those are off the shelf,
PC
CPU parts.
No, but the point
Yeah.
that's not the point I'm trying. The point I'm trying to make though is it's nothing. It's not necessarily to do with how powerful the console is. When you have when you're working with different architectures, no matter what you port from, if you don't optimize for that system, then you're going to get bad results.
That goes for any game.
Even with the PC, even with the PC hardware they're using, they're not making proper use of the hardware, and that's why even PCs giving bad results sometimes.
Watch Dogs.
Isn't that why that game shouldn't sell well? Because isn't that what happened back in the day when it was a Super Nintendo or a Genesis version of a game? Whichever game worked the best or looked the best to you, that was the version that you bought. If you had both systems, so why all of a sudden now are we letting the publishers and the developers decide for us why they can come up with the excuses instead of actually doing what they're supposed to do and developing for the system so the people can choose?
Because
Microsoft and Sony
back then were Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, completely different versions of the same game, as well as Turtles Tournament Fighters, 2 completely different versions.
Because Microsoft and Sony, the reason why is very simple. Microsoft and Sony, instead of doing what they should do, which is tell third parties, you make a good game, it sells well, that's how you make your money, they money hack. And basically, instead of the dynamics of the relationship has changed. It's like people who bargain with their kids versus parents. Okay, you bargain with your kids. Well, get good grades, and we'll go out to the movies. No, your ass is supposed to get good grades. You're not. There's no bargaining involved. Okay.
Okay, so everybody has been paying attention to what's been happening the past couple of weeks, and none of the major gaming sites are ever going to. They're not going to talk in detail about what happened because it knows it throws them under the bus, right? Yep. That is nothing but an example for everything else that's happening between other relationships with, like, let's say third parties, publishers, developers, reviewers, things of that nature. They all are buddy with each other. They're all money hatting each other. And
Jeff Fox, let me correct you. Not a couple of weeks, 4 weeks. Straight.
Hasn't this been going on for a lot longer than that?
It's been going on since it's been going on for at least 2 console generations.
Yep.
It's been going on for a while.
That's why you see left and right from journalisms, man. I mean,
it's just that
it comes out and rocks everything like they did, 2 months back at E3. No one says shit bad things about them at all.
Put it this
smoke
way.
Clears, shit hits the fan all over again. Michael Packer just came out today and started talking shit again.
Put it this way. Put it this way. What we got to realize with this is that this is a system that has all been designed. And it's not even just been designed since when the Wii U came out. It's been designed since the Wii era. It's just that a lot of this stuff was going more behind the scenes, and the power excuse at the time was more believable because the Wii was in 480p and the other consoles were supposedly meant to run in 1080p, 720p. It was more believable to people. It was more impressionable upon people at the time because it almost seemed like you could see a difference, even though a lot of times you couldn't really. So basically, this has all been in plan. So a lot of the shovelware tactics, a lot of the things like releasing shovelware and stuff on the Wii led up to what third party are doing now with the Wii U. They basically found a way to flip it onto the consumers. Now they're saying that they lost our consumer trust, and now they're trying to blame us by saying that you don't buy our games, blah blah blah. You only buy this, that, whatever, and all that kind of nonsense. So it's all been designed since the 7th generation. They planned it in the 7th generation, and now they're executing it in this generation.
Conspiracy at its best, you.
All right, Triple M, you got anything to add to this since media is your thing?
I've been waiting god awfully long to go on a tangent on this. And
Oh my.
I'm going to do this as a timeline. Yes, people, timeline. Let's go back all the way since the fourth generation, when the great battle gaming wars of between Nintendo and Sega with the Super NES and the Genesis. I was a pretty lad back then, so I didn't think much of it. But the first blast. The first type of advertisement that I've seen between console wars, when I saw a picture or just a drawing of Mario kicking Sonic the Hedgehog's nuts, you know. And this here's the thing, I was a Mario and a Sonic the Hedgehog fan back then, so you can pretty much feel my my distaste toward that thing. I mean, I was literally in tears when I saw that. Two heroes of mine wasting each other out. But yeah, didn't think much of it. Then the fifth generation. When Sony came along with the PlayStation, the first PlayStation, and what we have, it's an advertisement of
Crash Bandicoot.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Red Fox. Yes, Crash Bandicoot. Going off on a tangent at the Nintendo headquarters. Again, a lad at the time, didn't think about it, but I kind of I've seen people actually like these type of advertisement, but to me, as again disgraceful. And at the time, I really did see Crash as a mascot for the Sony PlayStation. So okay, I was older at that time, and I kind of accepted it with great distaste. But anyway, moving along. Now that we come to the sixth generation, this I was old enough to notice something. And of all the games and from all the companies that I saw this kind of striking scenario, or the striking of the different versions, comes to EA's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, and mind you, Red Fox already knows about this. The GameCube version, I didn't felt clicking with me. Only until I played the PS2 version, I absolutely loved it. Heck, and I was even willing to buy a PS2 just for Hot Pursuit 2. Now, if I remember correctly, Tech TV was actually X-Play was kind of young at the time and shows reviews for games, and at the time they were actually reviewing a game, a multiplayer game that came on all consoles. And I know, and when they finally reviewed the Hot Pursuit version, I saw something. I saw something that irks me for a bit. I was like, wait a minute, I'm seeing the GameCube version and the Xbox version looked exactly the same, yet the PS2 version is the better one out of the three. And I'm like, okay. And mind you, I wasn't even interested in looking at doing research. So in my mind, I was like, okay, the PS2 version is stronger than the GameCube and the Xbox One. Only then, years later, just before the sixth generation died, I found out that the GameCube and the Xbox was indeed stronger of the three consoles. So I was kind of left and confused at the time. Wait a minute, how can a game look so good and in my experience plays so good that it's on the most inferior console of the three? And I'm like, no. That was the time I started doing some research, and look and behold, the irony in this, that the article that I found and read was none other than Shadow Fox Infinite, about the whole GameCube and Xbox One architecture, and I learned quite a bit of his article. And Shadow Fox, I say thanks to you that you gave me the knowledge that I could have understand back in those days. Now, I kind of skipped the Dreamcast, and for good reasons, because of this research I started doing after the whole Hot Pursuit 2 thing that kind of drive me crazy. I was looking on websites, and I've seen articles about Dreamcast. The Dreamcast is going to be a failure, and actually, it was already a failure by the time I found out about the article. I was flabbergasted that I didn't even knew that the Dreamcast was let's just say suspended, for the lack of a better word. So I started to do some more digging, but I couldn't come up with anything credence. Now, years later, about the whole Dreamcast debacle, I found out that some sites actually downplayed the games of the Dreamcast, and those same games that they downplayed, when they were ported to the PS2, they were praising it up in arms and all that. And I was like, that was the time the changing of from the 5th to the 6th. Sorry, from the 6th to the 7th gen, I started to think that something is not right here. This whole gaming media, I really can't trust them. It's not until after when the Wii was released, and boy, this is the first time I've noticed this trend that was going. When the Wii came out, I noticed that that gaming websites didn't even thought anything about the Wii, and they were praising the HD twins. And I think because of that reason, because the gaming media didn't think anything about the Wii, they kind of left an opening for the Wii to thrive, and made a huge success. And only afterwards, when the Wii was actually became a success, I'm seeing articles being posted. They were like giving some congratulations, but still a backhanded congratulations to Nintendo for the success of the Wii. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? And also kind of disregarding the Wii as a seventh gen compared to the HD twins. And that was the time of all the websites. IGN, I kind of despised IGN when it came to that. And even afterwards, afterwards, the last 2 years of the Wii cycle, oh my God, they really went down on the Wii just because games are not coming. And I'm like, wait a minute, can't you guys, in my mind, can't you guys play games that that you guys deemed worthy enough that could actually be replayable. And I've seen very few articles, again from IGN, saying some of these games, million sellers that connection that are so good that they are replayable. But dang, other sites like GameSpot, there was no such news making for the Wii or even Nintendo. And you know what? That's where the whole conspiracy thing of mine started to build up. Then we come here, the 8th generation. When the Wii U come out, I noticed this trend that there was some big time website that was actually downplaying the Wii U, and I'm like, at the time I was watching the GDCs, I was watching E3, I was watching god dang anything that Nintendo was showing from themselves or from the gaming media what the Wii U will possibly be. And you know what? I actually understand what the message that they were bringing for the Wii from the Wii U, and yet still I'm seeing sites, completely downplaying the Wii U. Now, when it came upon release, that downplay just grew exponentially, and I was seeing articles that was basically lying what the Wii U can and cannot do. I mean, to this day. No, actually, this year from March, I'm seeing people posting articles that the Wii U uses friends codes. I mean, bloody hell, man!
And that's sad.
And I think the reason why. I think really have a reason why the Wii U is not a success that could have been is because the gaming press, the gaming journalists, the gaming media was definitely trying to stranglehold Nintendo's success. I mean, I still can't believe that that brick and mortar stores couldn't even understand the message that the Wii U was actually a new console. And sure, we could blame Nintendo for some of that, but to this day, and even in UK, they actually have commercials, advertisements explaining in very fine detail what the Wii U can do. Yet, still seeing these sort of propagandas that pops out. Only now they're kind of popping out few and far between. But my God, was it a train wreck face fest back when the Wii was released? And there I have it.
Okay, I wanna thank you for being one of the few people that actually read that article prior to probably prior to Google Plus anyway, about the Xbox GameCube anyway. But thank you. You just illustrated something I wanted to talk about, and it's actually right now, right? So right now you can watch anybody that does anything. It could be Rev 3 Games, it could be IGN Daily Fix, it could be anything on GameSpot, it could be Kotaku, it could be Joystick, what have you. Look at any of their video features, look at any of their reviews or anything like that, and you'll notice that everything is really Sony and Microsoft heavy. You have news articles about betas. You have news articles about DLC. You have news articles about downloadable titles. You have news articles about games going gold. Like, when are you really running out of stuff to talk about when we're talking about Destiny from 180 days ago, and every day, or at least once a week, there is something you have to mention about that game. But at the same point in time, 25 eShop release titles have never been talked about on any of these major publications. Mm-hmm. Not a single. You would never see them talked about. They're released every week. and nobody talks about them. Multiple titles are released every week on the eShop. Nobody talks about them. Any Wii U releases that aren't by Nintendo are not talked about.
And then it's unless if it's a Nintendo website, you only hear those releases.
And all those Nintendo websites are considered fan sites. They're not major. So you're not gonna have. There is no IGN version of a Nintendo site. Even though it may be just as major, it may have just as much coverage. It won't get that mass press.
But I think
I'm
a
saying.
big part of that is because I mean overall, just like what Triple M was hinting at. I mean, and you as well, Shadow Fox. But the media, these media outlets, whether it be a gaming magazine, website, publication, whatever, they're now being paid by these third parties to market their games.
But you know what? It's not just the media. I'll tell you. I'm gonna touch on this for a little bit too. At one point in time, Nintendo had reps that went to retail to ensure that all their products was displayed properly. Even though they have reps now, as soon as they leave the store, the owners of a GameStop do what the fuck they want to do.
Yep.
So
yes.
I have been told to my face not to pre-order Wii U because it's going to be just like the Wii.
That's the weird part is the GameStop by me actually encouraged me because I wasn't even thinking about the Wii U.
There are very few of them, but you're right. There are very few out there that actually stick to it. But for the majority, Nintendo stuff is in the back of the store.
Oh no, you're right. Yep. Hands down.
Just like that in my store.
And it's one down bookshelf basically. The rest of them got 4 or 5 apiece.
I mean, you look at the 3DS. The 3DS is one of the most highest-selling dedicated gaming devices on the market right now, and yet it's got a damn shelf. It's got a pantry to itself, and the Xbox One is up there in front. The PS4 is up there in front. The Vita is in my local GameStop in the mall. Lots of foot traffic. You go in the front. The Vita's right there in the front. I'm like, this shit is dead. Why is this thing?
There are 100 Wii U games at retail right now, right? There are God knows how many 3DS games at retail right now, right? There are like maybe 50 PS4 games at retail. And the average store is only going to have like maybe 20 titles.
And they're still
there will be 100 of those 20 titles spread across a big ass PS4 wall.
Yep.
You'll see Call of Duty 9 times stretched across the wall for PS4, and then that'll be 5 times longer than the entire Wii U shelf.
And insult to injury, you can still see a damn PSP UMD on the wall.
Yep.
I can attest to that. Last year I went on vacation with my family, in South Florida. I went to two GameStops. One was small. They were both small. Like a 4-corner cubicle. I have to walk all the way to the back of the wall of that store to find Nintendo games, be it Wii U games or even 3DS. I mean, 4 walls. One wall for Nintendo, while the rest they were all Xbox, PlayStation 3, 4, whatever you might want to call it, and they were like. There were like 5-10 games of one series. I'm like, what the?
I got a question to ask you. While you were in that GameStop and you were looking at the Wii or Wii U wall, did anybody come to help you?
No, they didn't come to help me.
I'm asking you something.
But they sure. Wait. They didn't come to help me.
What are you doing?
But they sure as hell. I felt like I was being watched. I mean, watched like a hawk.
Of course, because they're like somebody's actually there.
No, the reason why I said that is I performed a social experiment, and what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna make a video about it at some point too, because I think I'm gonna record it because I've done this multiple times. I've gone to the store, right? I go there, I'll walk straight to the Nintendo wall. I'll get eyeballed. Nobody will say anything. I'll sit over there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'll go to the 360 wall or the Xbox One wall. Within 90 seconds, somebody is asking me, "What can I do for you?"
Mm-hmm. That's just
and I'll show it. I'll do an experiment on it. I'll show you the video. It's alarming.
Do it.
Very alarming.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you should do it. But
Next.
Yeah,
okay, go on.
it's actually true. It happened to me too. But tell me why I go to a GameStop to pre-order Bayonetta.
Hey.
And this fool tells me straight out, "Oh, you shouldn't pre-order that game. You know, you heard about this Operation, whatever the hell." They actually talk about Operation Platinum, and I say, "Yeah, I support it. What's your point?" They actually wanted me not to pre-order it just for that simple fact.
That's crazy.
I'd have said that. You know, I would.
Before anyone else goes on, I just want to say that I am flattered that this movement are.
Yeah,
I'm flattered.
If it's pissing off douchebags at GameStop, I'm happy.
But you know what?
It's out there.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what you say to that person. Just say to hell with what you think.
Yeah, I did. I pre-ordered it right in front of me. I was like, "Well, whatever your choices are, that's you, homie. But put this money on there. Thank you very much. And take this Watch Dogs and this freaking GTA back. Thank you. Put the money on Bayonetta."
But you know what though?
I like this guy.
This also ties into what I think is a conspiracy. This is why Nintendo has been doing their own damn E3 presentation with the Digital Direct. This is why they've been doing their own Nintendo Directs throughout the year that's their own advertising. Nintendo has basically said behind closed doors, fuck the third parties. Fuck the media. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to promote our own games. We're going to make sure no information is misconstrued. They don't misquote us. Nothing. All information must come from us. Hell, even the leaks come directly from Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, that dude worked it.
See, Nintendo wants to make sure that you don't get anything wrong.
Well, it used to work.
I mean, but if you think about it, they're really, really trying to make sure that nothing on the outside can, down talk or downplay their products. So they're controlling everything from the beginning to the end, from just the idea, the general idea of it, down to the damn shipping and promoting the game. Like if you look at their DLC for Mario Kart, I mean, damn, the moment you touch a gamepad, you see just a big ass advertising pop up. You don't get to show the Xbox One or the PS4. And then on top of that, even if you bought the DLC, you pre-ordered it, guess what? It's sitting in your damn face when you select your damn character.
Yep.
You know it's coming.
Let me tell you, it's deeper. I take it even deeper. It's a lot deeper than that. It's about gaining. It's about them gaining an independence from from everything else that goes in the industry. They're putting themselves in a position where they don't have to depend on anyone but themselves. So if this gaming industry does crash, which it probably will, Nintendo will be all right because they've already put their own structure in place to make sure they survive, even if the worst happens.
Let me tell you something here.
Everybody else is going to be scratching their freaking heads, wondering what happened. How come Nintendo standing? Like, well, fucking duh.
There was something I forgot to tell you. Last year E3.
Oh, I was just about to put that.
Excuse me?
I was about to put something in the side chat about the time, but keep going.
Right. Now, I was looking at a YouTuber's video, goes by the name Reasonotics. Very, very swell dude, by the way. Now, there was a video that he did last year. It was none other than IGN. At the time of E3, Reasonotics was looking at the live show of IGN, either live or recorded or whatever. But none other than Greg Miller said this, and I quote: When they saw the Nintendo Direct of last year, which that was the stepping stone, by the way, and that was great. This is what Greg Miller said. The games that they showed, I love them. They're going to be the games I'm gonna buy. But or those are the games that I'm going to play for a long while. But these are not the type of games that I want to buy first. And I'm like, really? I'm sorry, Greg Miller. Did you just congratulate Nintendo for having a game that actually interests you, and then you slap them in the face, telling them, "Nah, quite interesting. Those games are quite interesting, but I don't want them right now." Really, really.
You know, the way I look at it, I don't even look at it as anything offensive. The way I see it is that, you know, Greg Miller, he seems like a fat, lazy person who can't lay off McDonald's, so, you know, he wants something nice and easy that doesn't have to worry his brain too much.
Here's the thing. I really didn't care or didn't even mind what you were saying, but just because this is IGN we're talking about, that is supposed to be a gaming website or media or journalist, that grinds my gear to say, okay, that I completely cannot trust what the gaming media is going to say after that point.
Yeah, but I've just gotten to that point where I don't even care no more. I've seen this conspiracy's ins and outs from left to right, and you know, nothing surprises me. It's all been planned. It's all been designed. Even, you know, if you look at the games that third party advertised during the Wii era, they complained about certain games not selling. But if you look at the games they advertised, what they advertised on the PS3 and Xbox 360 was all the hardcore, and on the Wii they advertised all their shovelware, and they wondered why their big games didn't sell. So, you know, it's just it's something we've got to accept, but at the same time, it's something we can do something about by not supporting them.
Don't buy their games.
All right. Well, guys, that'll just about do it for tonight. I do want to thank you all for coming, and even the later arrivals, Shadow Fox, if you're still here, and Micah, thank you guys for showing up, man. I really was hoping you would, and you did. And you know, just for the viewers out there, I mean, I know this shit seems really far-fetched, but I do think there's an upcoming Nintendo ecosystem, and I do think that what's happening now is they're just trying to find a way to make themselves completely dependent from third parties.
Rise of Nintendo, and no one sees it coming.
In every single way, DLC, games, products, everything. They're just trying to make it to where they don't need anyone, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Nope. Like I
They
said,
just
man,
put-
it's the
they just
rise of
pushed Nintendo
Nintendo,
in
man.
it.
That's what it is. It's the rise of Nintendo, and no one freaking sees it coming, man.
Well, go ahead and give your outros, guys, and Bear Hooker, you can start it off.
All right, this is your fat Canadian boy, Bearhugger29. Glad to be here. Thanks a lot, Ken, for allowing me here. It was an epic 2-hour journey, but yeah, I had fun. Excellent.
And also, if you guys got any giveaways you got planned, be sure to mention them. That goes for you too, Bear, if you got one.
Oh, I already did my video earlier today, but I will say this for my final saying: support Operation Platinum, God damn it, and buy Wonderful 101. God damn it. I'm sorry, I can't stress it enough. That game deserves to be fucking played, man.
All right. And Dark?
All right, guys. Today was pretty cool. Thanks for having me join you all with this little podcast, and hopefully, I can be on another one, whatnot. And Canadians are awesome. Just saying.
You alright?
That's a whole different plan.
Gotta have that routine.
Okay, go ahead, Micah.
Yo, you know who it is, DGC for Gamers, WMM06. Just, you know, as I always say, good podcast and play your games, enjoy your games, and just have fun. And who cares what others think?
And next up, the gaming diva or diva in gaming, we got Coupon. You need to choose one. Which one you gonna go with?
I'm going with the gaming and diva in gaming. I think it'll be better.
Okay.
But it's Coupon here. Thanks for having me, guys. I know I was silent, but it's all good. I like listening to y'all. Made some good points. At the end of the day, it's just about the games. Let's just have fun, enjoy our games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry about your disappointment earlier with that that game. Well, go ahead, Red Fox.
Well, This is Mr. Red Fox. I have not suffered fools lightly since 1991. And look, don't play games because your friends like it. Play games because you enjoy it.
Alright, and Techno Man himself, you need to actually change your name to that dude. Seriously, it fits you. But Shadow Fox.
For real.
Hey, this is Shadow Fox Infinite, the Rogue Ninja of K9 Descent. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, whatever. I have multiple channels. You know where I am. And as I always say, do you play games to have fun or to impress other people? And if you would like to debate me, feel free. I'm public.
Don't. For anyone watching, don't fall for that shit.
Okay, no, do it because I want to see the video and laugh later.
And just a side note, about Shadow Fox, if you guys can, go look up one of his most recent videos. It's a live debate. That's all I'm gonna say. I won't say any names, but I promise you'll laugh. And I want to also give a shout out to the guy that made a sequel to that video, Timeout Corner. Check out that video. I had to give you a shout out, man. I honestly, I probably gave your video about a good 50 views on my own. So seriously, check out the video, guys. And next up, we got Shepard.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about my performance tonight, but work kicked my butt today. My brain is fried. But I'm gonna be having a giveaway. I'm gonna give a detailed announcement sometime this weekend. I'm giving out one Bayonetta 2 and Wonderful 101. Brand new sealed. Support Operation Platinum. We need to support all the good developers out there. That's it. I'm done.
All right.
I'm out.
All right, and Triple M.
I'm trying to keep this short.
Oh,
This has
chocolate
been
muffins,
Triple M.
delicious.
Right. This has been Triple M, and I'll just say support Platinum, Operation Platinum, and that means Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, and all the other rest of the games that they actually made, including Okami, which they were, by the way, Clovers before being Platinum games. Also, I wanted to say, Micah, I feel like I have to correct you there with the whole stance that you're doing, but I think it's supposed to be Vive la Wii U stance. And also, I wanted to give out the shout outs to Reasonautics and Marvelous EXE with a Z. So,
I remember him.
Yeah, great guy, and they should need more views. So please go watch the videos. And before I sign out, I have got to mention to go and watch Iwata's 2005 GDC keynote speech, and even the 2011 GDC of his, because what he was saying in those two keynote speeches, it's happening right now.
I agree.
With his opening speech of his keynote speech of 2005 was so bloody meaningfully deep. That is the inspiration of my sign out, and it goes as this. I'm an artist at mind, an adventurer at spirit, but I have a wonderful fondness of enjoyment to play Nintendo games, and I wouldn't mind playing other well-made video games.
All right. And I'm your host here, Dr. Feel Good, the guy with the smooth moves and nice tunes, always in a damn good gaming mood. And just for all the viewers out there, be sure you check out the Gamers at Large. We're growing. We don't care about all the bull, the fanboy fights, the flame wars. It's not about the consoles. It is all and only about the games, because the consoles are nothing about good games. Support good third parties, as I mentioned earlier, Operation Platinum, Bayonetta to the million. And as I always say, keep it gaming.
See you next time!